This is the article I was talking about. He says, y'all see the article on ESPN
Yeah.
predicting us getting Jacoby Brissett. Also, we're officially on Munchak Watch right now. And smash that like button. Yeah, that
Yes,
article
I
has
did
us
see
getting
that.
Jacoby Brissett and Sam Howell. Just
Yeah,
two
I did see that.
guys I don't want at all.
So for me, I didn't mind the Jacoby Brissett thing because Jacoby, I think someone asked him, I saw some quotes or something like that where he was basically saying that he would be interested in playing in Pittsburgh. He likes the situation in the sense that he could either come in and start or he wouldn't mind even being a backup here. Hearing that lets me know that number one, his market isn't going to be crazy in terms of the numbers. Number two, he is still a veteran quarterback. Remember, he came in with the Colts. He's won games and stuff like that. He's definitely, excuse me, a good quarterback. He's not a really good quarterback. He's a good quarterback though. So it's like if the numbers are cheap, you get your veteran. If you were to, have him in at the beginning of the year and he's developing whatever quarterback you draft, whether it's Sam Howell, Malik, whoever, I could see that route because Jacoby, I do think he would be a lot cheaper compared to some of the other free agent quarterbacks that we've been talking about as well. Or at least he should be. That's the only reason why I would want him here, would be super cheap. But he is a veteran who has starting experience. So I wouldn't hate that. The Sam Howell
How does
thing,
that play out though? Because that's what, 4 quarterbacks on the roster. If you draft
no.
a guy, now, I
Yeah,
wouldn't want
if you bring in Brissett, you got to get rid of somebody. Yeah, I would
I
think you
wouldn't
would get
want
rid of
Brissett
somebody,
at
man.
the expense. You know how we were talking about bringing in like
Yeah.
Minshew or some other veteran quarterback. I wouldn't want him at the expense of us not drafting a guy though.
No.
So
See,
if we brought
because
him in and then drafted a guy,
right,
he's there for just developmental purposes.
yes, and then from
Man,
there,
I mean that would be
but
that'd be a
no, but
crazy
think
situation
about
with the 4
no,
QBs though.
it wouldn't though. It wouldn't because you're not going to keep 4 QBs. You're only keeping 3 QBs at best. There's two
I would
dogs,
want the
one
guy that we
bone.
draft to be starting. Maybe
No,
that's where my mentality is
But
right off the bat.
think about this. And this is where we differ. You and I'm sure a lot of fans would be clear. Hey, throw him out there day one, and I'll be over here. Do not throw him out there day one. That would be the conversation. So for me, I look at it and say, you bring in Jacoby Brissett, you have him start at the beginning of the year because I don't think any of these quarterbacks, as I've said before, are coming in and just day one change the face of your franchise right now. I think that they can grow and develop into that, but I do think that they're going to have some growing pains with the way our offense is currently constructed. A Jacoby Brissett early on in the season can minimize that a little bit, so you don't have to deal with the negative exposure, and that guy can be brought along a little bit slower as well while we're figuring out what this situation is going to look like. Matt Canada, the O-line, wide receiver room and stuff like that. So I don't hate that. You know what I mean? Like as long as the number is super cheap. And then from there, it's like Jacoby's at the beginning, you lock him in, you're good. All right, you draft your quarterback. All right, cool. And now you say Mason and Haskins. Y'all are still all open competition, Either one of y'all can, emerge and say, hey man, he should be the guy. He's defied odds. All right, he's the franchise, he's the core, he's QB1 this year. Or we're going to look at y'all and say, all right, well, Mason, you played worse than Haskins. Mason, you're gone. Or they'll say, Haskins, you played worse than Mason. Haskins, you're gone. And that's how they'll rock with those 3 guys just like that. Like that's the scenario I could easily see it being as well, man.
Okay. See, I'm from the mindset of just what's the point? Because I see Brissett and Mason kind of in the same vein of like, this is the safe guy. I mean, you could win some games with Mason, limited. At the end of the day, if we brought Brissett in, I'm just like, I want to play Haskins over Brissett anyway.
Okay. Well, and
that's my thought.
See, for me, I'm not like, I feel like with you already have your mind locked in. I look at it as, why should your mind be locked in on any of these guys? Because none of them have proven to be above competition. So why going with this mindset of, if Brissett's here, it has to be Haskins? It's like, nah.
If we don't draft the guy, here's my thing. If we don't draft the guy, fine, because it'd be the exact same thing as like bringing in Fitzpatrick or Gardner Minshew. But if we bring Brissett and don't draft the guy, that's what I wouldn't like. If we could just bring in Brissett for competition, I'm perfectly fine with that.
But that's the whole purpose of a veteran free agent quarterback, because we currently don't have a veteran quarterback on the roster that can even come in and educate Mason and Haskins on how to be a 17-game starter. Educate them on different things that they're seeing in reads and stuff like that. We don't have that guy on the roster right now. So you could get a guy like that in Jacoby Brissett, who's been in some places where you have high-end quarterback play. Remember, he was in New England with Brady. He understands what that situation is like. He knows how to play quarterback, which is why he's been successful in his stints. He's just not a really good or an elite version of quarterback. And we know that's how we differ in terms of our approach. But to me, you can still have a guy like that and still draft whoever you want at quarterback And I don't think that it hurts either or. I think, in fact, I personally like it because it benefits, because I don't have to throw a young prospect who I already feel is going to be a little bit more of a project than a day one, 5-star proven commodity. It's like, man, I don't want to enter that into a situation that we already know is going to have to get some kinks worked out early in the season, because you just set that person up for failure early on. And now you're going to have to ask them to overcome adversity physically, mentally, fan base wise. It's just a lot more that person's going to have to deal with as a rookie that you don't want young players to have to worry about. You want young players to just focus on playing football, not, oh man, all right, is that guy good enough? Or what the fans thinking of me? What the coach is looking at me right now? Man, that really wasn't my fault. That was this guy's fault. It's just, you don't want them to have to worry about that type of stuff.
Any more on how you change your opinion?
Not yet. He's next. I keep going back and watching him. It's like, I see some of the stuff that makes him exciting, but then I still see some of the stuff that limits him. And like I said, for the Baker comparison, it's a gift and a curse, because Baker is good, but we also know Baker isn't franchise quarterback. You know what I mean? In the sense of, you don't want to overpay him and you feel like he's a force multiplier. I just don't feel like, that's a good situation to be in. So when I'm thinking of Sam, and I'm thinking, man, if that's his ceiling, could one of these other prospects have a potentially higher ceiling? When we talk about Malik, when you talk about that dual ability, it's like, man, I just think his ceiling is higher, because I think that Malik can throw with a Sam, but he also can run way better than Sam as well. So it's like, man, why would I settle for Sam Howell if I could get a Malik Willis? And that's kind of like how I have been going back and forth with those guys. But I've also seen some mocks where, man, they'll have some of these quarterbacks going early, and you're like, dude, by the time they get to us, it's like, well, that guy.
Saw one that had Malik Willis at 6.
I've seen
another one that
I've seen him at 10.
The first round.
I think I saw Malik going to the Washington Commanders in one draft. I think it was like 11. At 11. Yeah. Then they had Kenny Pickett going to the Saints. They had us getting it wasn't Desmond.
Was it Corral?
It might have been Corral. It was either Corral or was the Howell one. I think I might have seen the same one you saw, man. Yeah, but I've seen like a couple of different ones.
I think there was one that had taken Howell. Well, that's the ESPN one. They have us taking Howell at 20, which
I was like, yo, this is crazy, man.
I pray to God that doesn't happen.